Let's also welcome the guests on our show today, and we are being joined by two guests on the show today. We have Sudip Bandyopadhyay, who's the Group Chairman at Inditrade Capital, as well as Rajesh Palviya, Head of Technical and Derivative Research at Axis Securities. Gentlemen, welcome on the show today. Let me start by coming to you, Sudip, then. We've seen Nifty Bank was a real drag in Friday's trading session. So come next week, what levels are you spotting for Nifty Bank, and how are you seeing action panning out for the Nifty Bank index?
Well, I think the pulling of the brake by RBI on this unsecured lending by banks and other lending institutions, I think is a welcome step. The way I look at it, medium to long term, this is good for the health of the sector, and probably RBI, for genuine reasons, was really concerned about the credit cycle turning in a bad manner, and they did a timely pulling of the plug so that things cool down a bit as far as unsecured lending is concerned. Obviously, this will lead to short-term adjustments, short-term bit of a pain as far as some of the banks which were had significant exposure as far as unsecured lending is concerned. Capital adequacy comes down, and they probably need to raise more money. They need to make the unsecured loans more costlier, which in turn probably will reduce the demand for unsecured loans. But these are short-term adjustments and probably is good for the health of the sector. And I won't read too much into it from a medium to long-term perspective. As far as the Nifty and the bank valuations next level, I think things will start coming back to normal. Look, State Bank of India will not have a major problem. The credit demand in other sectors also is strong. The capex requirement and the demand, corresponding credit demand, is increasing in the economy. So little bit of unsecured demand, loan demand coming down would not affect large banks like an HDFC Bank or a State Bank or an ICICI Bank, even for that matter, some of the other small NBFCs as well. So I would be careful in selecting the banks and the NBFCs, which probably one needs to look at buying. Let's say an HDFC at around 1500 levels definitely look good. This adjustment by RBI would not have a medium-term impact on an HDFC Bank. They won't have an major impact on SBI as well. They won't have impact on, let's say, gold loan companies or a company like a Mahindra Finance, which predominantly is into secured lending. Now, if some NBFC is into unsecured lending, they would have some bit of a challenge, but not a company like a Mahindra Finance. So these are the stocks which I look at, and I will expect the Nifty Bank to start, gathering momentum once again towards the middle of next week.
Well, right. So that selective approach coming in for the banks, that's the word coming in from Sudeep. Good afternoon, gentlemen. This is Lisa on the other side. Rajesh, my question is to you. I want to know about the crude prices. How are they looking on the chart? Because if I look at the Brent crude price, now it is trending at around $78 per barrel. And crude oil today, it has fallen to a 4-month low, the lowest level since July. And this is on the back of rising inventories as well as weak demand coming in from China. So how do you look at the crude prices trending forward?
So looking at the crude price, yes, there is a significant supply pressure we have seen in last couple of trading session in crude oil prices. Even if you look at the daily as well as the weekly setup, now crude oil, Brent crude is now approaching towards its multiple support zone area. That is at around 74, 73 level. That is very important on the downside for Brent crude. If at all crude breaks below 74 level, then we may see further more, pressure in the crude prices, and then it may fall further towards even 70 level, even 69 level also. But at this moment, 74 is the key important support area on the downside. If we talk about the higher side level, the major supply zone was at major resistance zone now at 83 level. So until crude not again regain above 83 level, it may remain under pressure. and maybe probably looking at the setup, yes, there is a possibility it may break below 74 also going forward. So I think trend is looking a little bearish for Brent crude, and we believe that sell on rise should be your strategy with stop loss of 83.
All right. So yes, stop loss of 83 coming in for crude prices. My next question goes to Sudeep. Sudeep, what about TCS? Because the record date has been announced for TCS, and that is on 25th November, and the share buyback that is amounting to around 17,000 crore. So how do you picturize it? What will it be for the retail investors?
Well, I think periodic buyback by large IT companies have become a matter of routine, and this is one of their ways of rewarding shareholders and setting a price benchmark which they think is appropriate for the stock. Market may or may not choose to go to that level. So I will say this is pretty much one of the routine occurrences which we have become used to as far as large IT companies are concerned. As far as overall IT is concerned, my focus have been for the last 12 to 6 months has been that focus on niche IT companies which are catering to sectors which are on a massive upswing. So let's say travel and tourism is on a major upswing. So focus on software companies, technology companies which are catering to travel and tourism. So let's say RateGain Technologies, Coforge definitely looks good for buying, even after all the upswing they have seen in the recent past. Let's say automobile industry and the transition to EV, that's on full swing. And the technology companies which are focusing on this segment of the industry, let's say KPIT, these are the companies one needs to look at, because these are companies which are servicing a growing demand. And this is where I think the focus of stock pickers should be, and we have been recommending buy in these stocks.
Absolutely, Sudeep. Thanks for that take coming in on the TCS buyback. But Rajesh, let me come back to you and let me ask you about the IT sector. Nifty IT on a whole was up 4.5% in the week that went by. And IT has not been performing since a very long time, but now we're seeing some recent performance coming in that sector. And even for this week, you had this surge coming in from the mid-cap IT names compared to the large-cap IT ones. So I want to ask you two questions. One is, where do you see the Nifty IT index headed next week? And second is, do you see any participation now? Are you foreseeing any participation from large cap names, or do you think the mid cap IT space will continue to remain a buzz?
Yeah, very strong price behavior in the current week for Nifty IT, almost 4%, 4.5% up week on week basis. Looking at the structure, yes, we do expect, furthermore momentum on the buying side we can see in the coming week for IT space, as most of the mid-cap IT, especially mid-cap IT, have performed well and managed to give breakout on the near term as well as on the short term chart. So compared to large cap IT, mid cap IT may get more traction on the buying side. If we talk about the large cap IT, yes, Infosys is looking attractive at this moment, and HCL Tech, these two stocks are looking promising at this moment from the large cap IT space. And then we believe that, Infosys and HCL Tech, these two stocks can do well in coming sessions, as structure for near term to short term is on the bullish side. We are projecting target for HCL Tech towards 1350, 1360 with stop loss of 1265. And Infosys, we expect that this momentum can extend towards 1470 to 1490 in the continuation of this pullback with stop loss of 1400. From mid-cap IT space, our preferred choice would be Coforge, very strong price action throughout the week, almost 10% gain. Now stock is approaching towards its previous swing high of September. And looking at the structure, we do believe that, if stocks hold above 5600 level, then possibly this rally can extend further higher towards 5800 to 5900 in the continuation of this uptrend. And another stock that we like from mid-cap IT space, that is L&T Technology Services, LTTS, is also looking promising. Now stock is penetrating to its 50-day moving average. Looking at the near-term, short-term structure, we expect this stock can also move further higher towards 4600 kind of target. So one can look to buy this stock also with stop loss of 4400.
Well, so IT sector is structured towards a bullish stance. That's the word coming in from Rajesh. But with that, let's slip into a short break. But post the break, we get more clarity on the market going forward from a panel of experts. So stay tuned on the show.